Hi, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do a tutorial on some quilt fills. But before we go on to the tutorial, I just wanted to share some perspective and some point of views. I went ahead and I did a heart fills just recently, probably 2 videos back, and I did it on my Juki 210. And I wasn't as good as I wanted to be. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same fill on my long arm quilting machine. But as I was sitting here thinking about my quilting on the domestic machine, I kind of got some perspective about some things. I remember a while back when I got my gamel, I suddenly thought that once I got that gamel, that I was going to be this wonderful, powerful, like, quilter, and then I was going to have some quilts at the Houston Quilt Show, and I don't know what I thought, that when I got the machine, that all of a sudden the talent would fall on me and the juju from the machine would just like rub itself on me. I don't know what I thought, but for some reason I thought that once I had that machine, that all of a sudden I would be this wonderful, great quilter. And the truth is, when I got the machine, I was deadly afraid of it, and I really didn't touch it for about a year. And one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel is I wanted to start filming myself doing some long arm quilting on it. So here I took the belts off and I started quilting, and it was epically horrible, just like my quilting on the domestic sewing machine, on the Juki 210. It was really bad. You should look at the videos. For some reason, I have no idea why, I have 20,000 views on one of them, and I'm kind of like dumbfounded, like why the hell would anybody want to look at that crap? I like those videos because I like looking back at where I was at one time and how much I've grown. For some reason, we seem to think that if we have an expensive machine, or if we have something that is expensive, that all of a sudden, poof, we will have the gift of it. The truth is, learning is earned, skill is earned, and it takes practice, it takes time. I was looking at how long it takes you to learn a skill. They were saying for you to be an expert at a skill, you have to spend at least 10,000 hours. And that's to be an expert. What they found, that you need to at least have 20 hours invested in a skill to become pretty good at it. And so when I first started quilting, I think that was my first 30 minutes. But in my mind, I wanted to do what I saw out there. You know, Gamel's really smooth about showing you these professional quilters, these experts. But Gamel doesn't say it's going to take you 10,000 hours to become an expert. They just say, have this beautiful machine, you know, have it, and they stroke it, and you can do this. They don't say that it's going to take you 10,000 hours of doing that skill to become an expert quilter. No one is telling you that you're going to have to spend 10,000 hours, because marketers know that if they told you that, you'd be less likely to spend the money. They just show you the product, ta-da, and you could be this. Isn't it funny? So I want to share with you that whatever you see on my long arm quilting machine, it's not even the gamel, it's not the long arm, it's the hours that have been spent on it. So I want to encourage you, if you spend 20 hours on your machine, if that's a domestic sewing machine or a long arm quilting machine, and if you split it up, it's 45 minutes a day for a month if you want to do it within a month. By the end of the month, you would be pretty good in whatever skill you're doing. So I just wanted to break it down. I was thinking about that one of the reasons I'm not as good on my domestic sewing machine is because I've only spent 3 hours on it. And so I'm getting 3 hours of results out of it. I'm getting a product that shows that it's not expert, it's not even good, it's beginner level. So I was just thinking about that. But I also had the same issue when I got on my long arm quilting machine, that when I first started, I was not at the level that I wanted to be. And now, as time has gone by, since I've had my machine since 2008, now you can see this wonderful improvement of my quilting. but it's really about the hours. But anyway, aside from my little weird tangent about it's not the machine, it's really about your time and investment in it. So I need to sit down and invest more time in my Juki 210 and quilt on my domestic quilt. It's like pulling teeth, right? Yeah. But honestly, it used to be like pulling teeth on the long arm. So those are just thoughts. So anyway, let's just get started. Let me show you what I did on the long arm. See, now that it's easier, I enjoy it more because I know I'm good at it. So here, I want to show you this. I went ahead and I did some quilting. I told you on the long arm it would be good because I've already invested the time to get the skill level. So here it is. Here it is, guys. Here it is. Isn't it beautiful? So I did this on the Juki 210, and within 45 minutes, I did start getting better. Can you imagine if I keep practicing at least 45 minutes once a month, once a week on my domestic domestic sewing machine, how much better I would get. So I went on Pinterest and I saw some Valentine's card, and I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of the card. It's not the card that I want to recreate, but the idea of the embossing, they had some embossing of positive and negative space. Positive and negative space is where one area of the space is risen and the other falls back, and each kind of create certain types of dimensions. And that's one of the beauty about quilting that we love to look at when we look at quilts. It's that rising of the fabric, and also what the quilter did to make the fabric fall in so that there is that fabric that pops up, which is kind of like the trapunto effect. And so what I did is I saw this card, and I'll show you a picture, and I went ahead and I recreated a section of it. This is an 8x8 square, and I divided by 4, and here I meandered down here and I left the heart open where it pops up and creates that positive space. And here I did the heart again, but I quilted in this space and I left this open, which creates that positive space, and this is a negative space. But it's just such a beautiful look, and I did that on the opposites. And so you can do this on your domestic sewing machine, which I need to get on my machine and practice so I can earn the skill and get good at it. And I hope you like this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next minute, soon.
Okay, so let's get started. So this is what it looks like, and we're going to go to the long arm, and I'm letting you know that I went ahead and I stitched in the ditch everything. My stitch length to do this quilting, I went ahead and quilted it at 14 stitches per inch. I am using, I think, King Tut thread with a regular just cotton essentials thread on the bottom because you're not going to see the bottom. And here you see me doing this quilting in a really slow motion. And if you notice, I'm echoing and I'm not really worried about the distance of the echoing from the top area, and I'm just echoing in. And then I'm just going ahead and going and making this swirl and going real slow back on that same line. And here you see me making the other part of the heart. And then here's the echo. I want it kind of to bubble on the top areas of the heart, and I thin it out when I get close to the edge. Here I went ahead and I did the video at a faster speed, so this is not how fast I quilt, but I just wanted you to see it because the earlier part of the video is real time. And just know that I went and stitched in the ditch everything, and I'm just putting little hearts to fill in the space, and then I'm echoing in between. Also, sometimes when I'm moving in transition, I just kind of echo, maybe an extra echo to move into different areas. And here I just echo to fill in the space. And here you just see me creating that heart, and I'm holding the fabric down. Also know I'm using warm and natural, but I'm using leftover fabric, and I used almost like 2.5 layers or 3 layers to get a lot of that bubbling that you see from the heart. So it's not just one piece of batting, it's probably like 2 or 3 so that the quilting kind of pops up more. And here you just see me quilting back and forth. And then in this area, I had an opening and I just went back and filled it in with echoes. And that's this part of this tutorial. So here you see this quilting, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the card that I found on Pinterest. This is a card that I found. It was embossed, I think. And here, this is kind of what I want to recreate, this close-up right here. So what I did is my fabric is 8 by 8 and I divided it into 4 quarters, and I got a piece of paper and cut out a 4 by 4 piece of paper, folded it in half and drew myself a heart. And now I have my pouncer and I'm going to go ahead and pounce that down so I have the silhouette of the outline of the heart, and I'm going to do that on all 4 corners of this piece of fabric. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do that in all 4 areas. Just know that this is also all stitched down. And what I'm going to do is I'm letting you know that I went ahead and stitched in the ditch, of course, to make sure that my fabric didn't move. Also, I don't know if I said earlier that I am using stitch regulated. And what I'm doing here with the ruler, my apothecary ruler, um, I'm going ahead and dividing with the straight stitch line, just those 4 quarters or 4 spaces. And here I start at the bottom of the heart and I go ahead and stitch out the heart. And I'm not being too picky or finicky about making that heart being perfect. I'm just kind of allowing myself the freedom to try to do my best. And if it's not perfect, I'm okay with it. Here you see me doing really small stippling. And I'm stippling right to the edge of that line of the heart, and I'm butting that stippling right to the edge. And here you see me just going all the way around the heart. And what I'm doing is I want the heart to rise up, and I'm making sure that the fabric is stitched down so that has that negative and positive effect. And here you just see me stippling and going right to the edge of that heart line. And here you see me going ahead and stitching that heart again. But in this area of the heart, I'm stitching the inside of the heart so the outside border starts to pop up. What I found is it is really neat that you can find a picture like on Pinterest, and I wanted to see if I could recreate it. And I think this is just a really beautiful quilting technique. It's not even hard, it's not difficult at all. And just know that I'm stippling right to that edge of the first line that I drew. And this is the better view, so I wanted to show you how I quilted that line. And on here in this area, I'm going to go ahead and quilt the outside, and I'm going to stipple all the way around it. When you see the video going slower, that's real time. And here I went ahead and speeded up the video so that you guys wouldn't get bored watching it, because this does take some time, because when you're really quilting, it does take a period of time to get the work done. Here you just see me quilting all the way around and making sure that it looks real nice. And this is real time. This is what real time looks like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and follow the bottom seam line. Here you see me following the bottom seam line so I don't have to cut the thread or break the thread. And I come up a little bit and I redo the stitch line of the heart again. Just know what I found was easier is just do it and don't think too much about it. And I noticed that the heart's really quilted or stitched out really nice. And here you see me just quilting all the way around inside the heart, and I'm stippling right to the edge of the first line that I created. And I'm filling in that space. And this is what it looks like with the film speeded up. In a little bit, I'm going to show you some pictures of the shadowing that this starts to create. Now, the neat thing is you could do this in any size. It's not that hard. And I really do believe that you could do this technique on a domestic machine or domestic sewing machine. And here you see how the quilting is lifted up and the areas where it creates that negative and positive space. And I'm just showing you the different shadowing of what it looks like from distance and different lighting. I just think this is beautiful. Can you imagine doing this technique on a large baby quilt or something like that? And you're not limited. You don't need to make templates that are difficult. I think this template was really easy to make. I really do hope you like this tutorial, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
So I just wanted to share with you this video, and I really do hope you like it. I'll see you in a minute, and so let's go to the video. Ta-ta!